In a world where tomorrow's blockbusters reign,
three millennials look back on our generation's classics.
On our generation's classics.
Our generation's classics.
And remember. Hey everyone, welcome to Millennials the Movie House, the podcast where three friends watch our generation's beloved movies of yesterday and review them from our modern adult perspectives. I'm Betsy.
I'm Tracy.
And I'm Serena.
It's always like a weather girl delay. You know how like they're like, and over to you. And I'm Serena.
And I'm Serena here with the weather.
Yeah. And today we watched Twilight from 2008, directed by Catherine Hardwicke, written by Melissa Rosenberg, based on a novel by Stephanie Meyer, starring Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson. I need you to know before we go into Tracy's synopsis. I need you to know that in our cheat sheet in the synopsis, I wrote, do I really need to? It's Twilight.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I went to go get the cheat sheet and yeah, that's what you wrote.
Yeah. That's literally what I wrote. I didn't even put any other actors. I just put Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson. So like,
I
who
feel
else
like
do I put?
Anna Kendrick.
Anna Kendrick was...
but she's minor in reality.
Oh, very minor.
Objectively
what about
speaking.
Billy Burke?
If I put Billy Burke, then I would put all of the Cullen clan.
Yeah,
and if I put all of the Cullen clan, I should start
Taylor
putting
Lautner,
like Billy and Taylor Lautner, which is funny because Taylor Lautner is actually very minor in this movie.
He is. I was very surprised, and I broke out.
Oh, book.
I broke out the book, and I couldn't remember if he was in it a lot. I felt, he must have been in it a little bit more, but. So I wanted to have this read by today, but check out what I started to read.
Oh yes,
my God.
Queen. Yes, Queen.
Yeah.
No.
Midnight Sun, baby.
Tracy, quick synopsis. Tracy, go.
Yeah. To those of you who have been living under a rock for the past, I don't know,
20 years?
20 years?
No, not 20, but 15?
I can't believe 2008.
2008.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
Yeah. So
doesn't feel that long.
Twilight, if you don't know, is about a girl,
right,
who moves into town and falls irrecoverably. What are the words she uses?
Irrevocably.
I can't even say it. In love with this other guy who turns out to be a vampire. And this is the first person that Edward, the vampire, has ever fallen for, because she is his own personal heroine.
Yep.
She smells special.
Yep.
And I think another reason too is because there's some level of frustration because he can't read her mind.
Right. Yes. She is special to him.
We know why.
I was going to say, we know that that's not just Edward. That's she's special in her own scenario. In her
that's
own
true. That is true.
I just watched the 5th movie recently, and I vaguely remember.
Yeah.
The only and I wrote this somewhere, the only acceptable thing about this whole not acceptable relationship is that she is just as obsessed with him as he is with her. She can't be as obsessed as him because she doesn't have the superpowers to be able to climb into his bedroom at night and watch her and not sleep and do all these creepy things.
Permission.
But I think that if the roles were reversed and she was the vampire obsessed with him, that she would have.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
She
still not okay, but I see what you're saying.
Still not okay, but very unhealthy. But I think they're both very unhealthy.
Right.
I was gonna say, but
very unhealthy or very poorly written. Either way, we're gonna go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple of signs that point. Well, I'm sure you guys are going to bring it up too, but that I picked up that I didn't pick up before. Watching this time, I'm like,
this is one of those movies where I have not watched this movie in many years.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Many years.
At least a decade for me.
A completely different perspective watching it now. It's weird. Anyway, all right. So let's jump right in. Where did you guys all see it in the theater first off? Because this is 2008. So let's all think back to where we were in 2008.
So
remember.
I don't remember Twilight. I remember New Moon.
Oh, yeah. God. We're not going to talk about New Moon.
I want to talk about New Moon.
I'm so glad I actually rewatched this whole thing and didn't just go based on memory, because all 5 movies blend together in my mind.
Yeah.
And I forgot all about the Victoria and James and the other and Lauren. I forgot all about them. They're like, I completely forgot.
I mean, I think we were all older. I think
I was 22.
Yeah,
I was 20.
I think this was geared towards high school kids, and you guys were in college. I was in grad school.
Yeah, but it was one of those things where, I mean,
you were okay.
It was that phenomenon. Like 50-year-old women were watching, were reading this book and watching this movie, and everybody was obsessed with this.
Yeah.
So it really did. Yes,
like,
it was
following,
like kind of geared for high school, which is problematic, but it's I mean, really everybody was watching it.
Cult like following.
Yeah. I have an interesting perspective on this. I was working at a bookstore at this time.
Right.
So it was in the young adult section. Don't get me wrong. I read lots of young adult, but at the time I hadn't caught the Twilight, whatever, but I was very aware of it.
Yeah.
But I hadn't read it yet. So I distinctly remember in the bookstore when someone was like explaining to like what the It books were that I was like helping customers with. And they specifically told me that this book was a pro-abstinence book, and to promote it as such, to a point where I then recall a customer coming in saying, please give me some young adult books that don't make my 12-year-old want to sleep with her boyfriend, because they weren't having sex because he might kill her, but that like obsession with your high school boyfriend was very much there. And they were gonna be together forever. And so you have these hormone teenagers coming in thinking that their high school boyfriend is gonna be there forever. And I mean, you don't go into a relationship thinking this is gonna last, but like it was bad. Like on like a bookseller. And then once I read it, I felt bad about it. But then I also fell for the whole like phenomenon of it. Because I want to say that this was a reaction to Harry Potter. Mm-hmm. Harry Potter was this crazy phenomenon of people loving books, getting in line for books. Yeah. So this was the next thing in that people were excited for, that were doing midnight release parties for these books. Yep. And as such, the movies were just as exciting. And like, I mean, in this film, they purposely wore jewelry to sell as merch. Like that's what the point of his bracelet and the necklaces and whatever else Emmett was wearing. I don't know.
All right.
That was why they were wearing those weird chunky things, was for merch, because they know people would buy it. And anyway, so that was my perspective of it. Other than I also fell for it because I'm like, it was like one of those addicting. It was like a romance novel. You have to know how it ends. And like everyone was talking about it. So you had to keep up with it to know what was going on. To give credit to that, that's exciting. Anyway, sorry.
That's what's fun. I remember that was one of the only times that I remember being like, okay, this book is not good. I love it anyway. I don't care. And I'm reading it to engage with other people, because I could guarantee that the average Joe or Jane standing next to me has also read this book. Like it was just a societal thing. At that moment.
Did you personally classify it as like a trash romance novel type thing?
No, not that. I classified it just as not well written. It was just, I don't know. I saw through it. I didn't think it was like a great work of literature the way that some people did.
Was it not fully believable? Because I know Tracy's a big fan of believability. Because
no, I bought into the fantasy of it.
Yeah, I mean I haven't read the book in so long. It's hard to really remember.
I did an audio of it and I don't even remember. I don't even remember it compared to the movie. I remember the movie.
I remember the first time reading it, I didn't pick up, I saw some of the obvious problems, but I didn't see all of the problems. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, I was wrapped up into the story, and I just kind of, I was
you chose to go for the ride. We're going to go for the ride.
Yes.
That's what we're going to do.
That's exactly what I did.
It's like you bought into it, but not like you were.
And especially when it was put to film where you could see it more clearly of some of the problems, you were like, oh.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh.
But we still went to see movie 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah. And the other thing I was thinking, that something about this movie, I don't know why, maybe it's the way their relationship is between Edward and Bella, but there's some level of control that he has over her that kind of brings me to 50 Shades of Grey.
Right.
Well,
right.
I mean, 50 Shades of Grey is a fan fiction of Twilight.
Oh, I did not realize this.
Yes.
Okay. Learn something new every day, folks.
Yeah. Like, that's what she wrote it as. She was like, okay, I need, because it was a pro-abstinence book, she was like, oh no, I need to write an erotic version of this.
Let's add the smut into this.
Yeah. Let's not be pretend about it. Let's add this in. And then that also became quite the phenomenon, you know what I mean?
On its own.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. There was just something about their relationship that was like, what vibe am I getting right now? Why can't I place it? And then it took me a minute. I'm like, why is this reminding me of 50 Shades of Grey?
And that's
amazing that you made that connection.
That is hilarious.
No, I had no idea. I mean, maybe in my subconscious, like back in the day, someone told me and I just don't remember, but I was like, this is giving me 50 Shades vibe.
That is the thing that, like, when I was, watching it when I was 20, I chose to ignore. And now I'm like, oh my God, it's just slapping me in the face. I can't do it.
I know.
It's just, he is so possessive of her. He's so controlling, and he's an old man. Like, that's the character, is an old man preying on a 17-year-old. Like, I can't get past that.
And like, so getting, it isn't in this movie, but like the whole imprinting.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my God.
That's grooming.
Oh my God.
But I remember it, like, do you remember the whole thing? Specifically me and Betsy. This is when we went from being cousins to being friends. Well, not because of Twilight. It was around the same
era.
It
was that era.
We were like racing each other through Breaking Dawn, I think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But I remember it being normal. Like the imprinting, we were like, no, it makes sense in the book. It makes sense.
It was the idea of soulmates. Yeah. I think that was how we were choosing to see it.
Yeah.
That's how I saw it up until you just told me that.
And I almost felt like we were being groomed in the book, where we were like, no, it's normal. It's fine.
We're being groomed for what happens in the 5th movie.
Yeah. So speaking of Jacob, do you remember Team Edward and Team Jacob?
Course.
I think this was the origin of teams.
Yeah.
And then that became a thing. So I feel like that does affect our generation, because we were always like team this or team that.
Yeah. That we'll dive more into that in a little bit. But Serena, so do you remember like where you were when you were introduced to this movie? Was it not at the same time as everybody else?
I wonder myself sometimes if I maybe was living on another planet for the last 2 decades, because I feel like I missed so much. I never watched movies when they came out. I always was like very late to the game. I just had minimal interest in sitting down and watching TV. I mean, I'm a busybody, and now in my older age, I'm here for it. I remember being in Connecticut and hearing about it or whatever, and it might have been on in the background, but I'm telling you guys, like, I don't think I ever watched this movie full through until maybe like 2011 or 12.
It was after the fact, but it wasn't like insanely after the fact.
Yeah, like
I think the movies were probably still coming out at that point. The franchise hadn't finished at that point. All right, so I'm bringing a question back that we had from the last 2 seasons. So buckle up, because this is not an easy answer necessarily.
Oh gosh, okay.
What was everyone's favorite part?
Oh, I feel like we just answer that like naturally.
Yeah, anyway. We do. But I'm making it official, guys. You had to think of a favorite part from this movie. Good luck. Actually, it's a very easy answer, and I will answer it first. Okay. The best part of this movie is Anna Kendrick. So From day one, from the first moment of seeing this movie, everyone agreed, and everyone still agrees that Anna Kendrick nailed Jessica. That
nailed her.
Perfect representation of that character from the book. Yeah. And we still love her to this day. So
yeah.
So like
I want to say that, like, not that I discovered her, but I definitely noticed the difference in her acting at that point.
Yes.
To Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart's
credit.
They are great actors.
Yeah. I actually love both of them now.
Yep. This was not their they did not do well in this. And I don't know if it was the direction, the writing, whatever it was, their heart wasn't in it, like all of the above. It was not great. But I mean, it also, I feel like, gave them their start.
Yes, it did. Yeah. But I also feel like they had to work a little extra hard to get out of that.
That is true.
You know, they didn't want to be pigeonholed, and they didn't want to be like, it wasn't our fault. It was a bad movie. We are good actors. It's not our fault. Because I think you're right. I think it really was the directing. That is actually possibly the biggest difference I noticed watching it now, is I was able to pinpoint what the problems were a little bit more readily. And it really was, a lot of it was the directing.
Yeah.
And the writing. And then also, like, the cinematography wasn't good.
No.
Even, like, the hair and makeup wasn't good.
No.
The lighting was, everything.
The CGI was bad.
The blocking wasn't good. Everything.
Why did he have lipstick on the whole time?
Why did, when she was in the hospital at the end, was the ashen makeup only on her face? Her neck was perfectly fine.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Her hair was perfectly curled the whole time.
You know what drove me crazy about her being in the hospital at the last time? It's so minor, and I feel like nobody noticed it, but it was a close-up of her face.
Oh my God, it's the
things drove me crazy. That what are the oxygen, whatever?
The oxygen
kept changing, and I'm like, I know that's got to be hard to keep in the same place, but I feel like you have to do it all in one shot because it is so noticeable.
No, the worst one is when they are standing in the forest and she's here and he's here. And then in the next shot, he's here. That is the worst one.
That I can explain. He's a vampire and he moves fast.
He beat the camera to it.
Yeah, he beat the camera.
Oh, sorry. Back to the question. What was everyone else's favorite part?
Before we do that, back to Anna Kendrick. I think it was to her credit how well she did, because or how she, I think because she was a minor character, the director or cinematographer, whatever, didn't really care what she did. So she really made Jessica her own, and she nailed the high school. Not
she
bimbo,
was that
but
girl.
She was that girl.
Yeah.
She was that girl.
Oh my God.
She
so
nailed right. like she nailed it.
Yeah.
And like, even in the book, even though the book wasn't well written, that was her character.
Jessica.
That is Jessica. So good job, Bets. I do agree with you.
Thank you.
I have such a stupid favorite part. For some reason, I like the car crash scene.
Oh my God, me too. No, I totally am with you on that. Because
that was pretty epic.
That was a big moment for a lot of girls. That was like, you know,
it was the toothbrush scene.
It's the save the cat moment.
It is the save the cat moment. It's like, it's the showing the strength, the rescue, the whatever. However, it does lead to like major gaslighting. And the only thing about Kristen or Bella, I should say, is that she does not, like, for a minute buy into it. He tries really hard to gaslight her, and he had the perfect excuse. Well, in the book, at least, she does bump her head, and she could have a concussion. She doesn't, but like, he had the perfect excuse. He was like, I was right next to you. You bumped your head. You were just in a major trauma accident. I just pushed you out of the way. And she was like, no.
No, you didn't.
So, it's funny you say that.
Like, you were standing at your car.
It's funny you say that, because I noticed that this time around too. And I always remember thinking Bella has like, she has the worst self-esteem and she thinks nothing of herself, blah, 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 blah. But there, like you said, there was not a second where she was like, oh, okay, yeah, maybe I got this wrong. No, she's like, no, absolutely not. I know what I saw.
Yeah. I did like that. She's like, no, you were at your car.
So
I'm totally okay with that being, because that was just such a major moment in the movie.
Yeah.
They got that right, at least. They did that part right.
It was almost a turning point.
Yeah.
In the movie.
Yeah.
Granted, it was probably like within the first 20 minutes of the movie, but it was a turning point. And everyone got to see, okay, he has like superhuman strength. Where is this going to lead? Think about us going into the first time watching this. Like, we had no idea. If you didn't read the book and you went in watching it, you didn't know what to expect.
Right.
Yeah. And not everyone read the book before watching it.
Yeah.
So, I do have a thing that's a favorite thing.
Okay.
And I don't know if you guys will agree or not. So I like the relationship between Bella and her father.
Yes.
I think it's very sweet relationship. He's such
Charlie is like the true hero of this franchise. And
agreed. Yeah. Everyone agrees.
Everyone agrees about
might
that.
have been the most solid actor. Especially, can we talk about when he cocks his gun? He's like, bring him in.
He had some really good comedic moments.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he was like the perfect dad. Yeah. No, agree, Serena. Good job.
Yep. That is a good one. Yep.
Their relationship is great.
And now that I'm 35, I can say it's a good looking man.
Serena, I would like to read a note that I have. Hang on, let me find it.
Yes, read.
I wrote, we're at that age, ... Carlisle is gorgeous and Charlie is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. To a point where I think one of the first scenes is he's picking her up from the airport and driving her. And he's like awkward because they have a good relationship, but they haven't really been together in a long time. Mm-hmm. And he goes, "Oh, your hair's longer." And she goes, "Oh, I've cut it since I've seen you." And I'm like, Bella,
that's a low blow. Come on.
Right. Like it's not like he hasn't wanted to see you. You've lived with your mom. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he abandoned you or something. You know what I mean? I'm like, give him this one. Say, like, agree with him. Don't be a spoiled little brat.
Yeah. And then, what was difficult for me and what I didn't fully understand, but I kind of can see it. But when she's telling him she's going to go back home and the tracker's outside listening, I'm assuming that she did that to protect him.
Yeah.
Yes. But I feel like there could have been another way. She was pretty harsh.
She had to sever it. She had to sever it hard. And she knew that was the way to do it.
Even Edward and her had this conversation. She's like, I don't want to hurt him, but she did it to save his life.
Yeah.
So I get that. What I don't get is like, he just lets her go, which, I mean, it would have killed them both. But like, I'm like, they just like let them keep dating. Like the whole situation is so bizarre from if you don't know what's going on, you know what I mean? If you don't know the reasons behind it, which he doesn't, and neither does her mom, you're like, these are warning trigger signs that they should not be dating.
Yeah. I don't know if because I'm trying to think to the second movie and she's in lockdown. Yes. You know, he's in the hospital and they go to prom together, but I don't think Charlie is okay with him.
Yeah, that's
just into his defense.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
Anyway.
Yeah, but he probably doesn't want to like push her away.
Well, sorry. That was what I was going to say was, I think that I feel like they delve into this in the book more. Maybe Tracy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like his parenting style was trying to treat her as an adult because she was 17. He was trying to like kind of take the reins off a little bit. Yeah. So, she chose to go live with him. So if she wants to go back to her mother, let her go back to her mother type thing. I don't know. Right. But anyway, I'm really trying to give him the benefit of the doubt because he is a great character.
He is a great character.
I think his acting is probably out of everyone. Oh God, yeah. I think his acting is right on the money. But yeah, that's where I stand with Charlie.
That is a good favorite part. I condone that 100%. So, all right.
Can we go back real quick, unless you plan to mention this about the music?
The music, yeah.
In retrospect, it's kind of cheesy, but it was very much it was also very prominent
of the moment. Yeah.
Of the moment.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted to
remember having the album. There were a few, it wasn't even Debussy or the, the piano or the instrumental. It was some of the songs, the actual like.
My mom loves the soundtrack. She's obsessed with the music. She's constantly sending me videos telling me to go look at the song.
A few of the
Twilight.
songs that came out of it, I was just like, yes. Even the Robert Pattinson songs, I remember being on my playlist, you know?
Yep. Paramore, because
I
Paramore,
love that.
Yes.
Decode.
Yep.
Side note, I am talking down on it so much. I am definitely gonna have to go watch movies 2, 3, 4, and 5 now.
I started reading Midnight Sun, and I'm going to finish it.
That's gonna be like my background movie for the next day and a half.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Need to finish the series. Need to finish reading the book.
Right.
I since we're talking about it, I put this under the Hallmark rule. So
yes,
it's like, it's bad, it's unhealthy, but you love it anyway. You're like, I know this is like, nope, the big city girl shouldn't give up her job just to open a bakery that's going to make no money because it's nonprofit or whatever the trope is, which, like I said, Tracy Go, like, I love those movies.
Yeah,
this just falls under the rule where you just excuse all of
you're
those
aware
things.
of the problems,
you're aware of them,
you know it, ignore them,
and you go on the ride anyway.
Yep, I am totally with you on that.
Yep.
So bad. Okay, well, this is definitely a millennial movie. It is on the younger side, and definitely in comparison to the last movie that we watched. So my next question is, how is this a millennial movie? Did it impact our generation as a whole?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think it did.
I think it did too.
I think people are not quite aware of how much it impacted it, but it definitely did.
Yeah, I would say so. Didn't it start the whole vampire thing?
Oh, well, it didn't start it, but it really got it going.
It did get it going. I want to say the Colonel again started with Harry Potter.
Yes.
But that was a younger generation.
Except that it's the same group of people.
It is the same group of people, because Harry Potter, you started when you were 10 or so, and then read it as it grew up. And then you were ready for something a little bit more risque.
Yep.
And at that point in your life, Twilight was ready for you.
Yep.
And I think the young adults section in the books and in movies really exploded. It truly, and like, if you even just go into the young adult section of, I keep going back to the books, but you can see the black and red, whereas this everything's black and dark and red and like,
Well, and that's a great way to put it. Is you're right. It kind of exploded the young adult genre with like fantasy romances that are quartets or whatever, multi-book. And honestly, that whole I don't even want to call it a fad, but that whole grouping of books really hasn't died down that much.
No,
you still
not
are
yet.
getting so many.
Yep.
Yeah, and Harry Potter it was a different thing. It was definitely a different thing.
It was different. But I think it paved the way.
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, so to sum up this question, all I wrote was, we all experienced it whether we wanted to or not.
Yes.
Yes.
It was on magazines. People people were reading it. People were talking about it. And like, even like guys who couldn't give,
they were still dragged to that movie theater.
Yes.
All right, everybody. The other question I brought back in from last season that I don't know if it's going to be applicable, but we're going to keep it in for future reference is boom, we fixed it.
Okay.
But that said, way too much about this movie had to be fixed in order for it to be good.
Our boom section is already like,
it's like
booming.
Redo the movie.
You can't even.
Yeah,
you can't.
It's just not applicable in this instance.
It's just.
I think changing Edward's behavior a little bit. He didn't have to go into her room and watch her sleep.
Yeah.
That's a little
that's changing. You would have to go back and change the novel.
Yeah.
Like, I think the thing to fix of the movie, like, you can't change the plot, you can't change whatever. I think the CGI stuff would have to be fixed. I think
that was the worst part.
Oh yeah.
It was the worst part, I think. And then kind of just let the actors maybe be a little bit more natural compared to whatever they were doing. But
forced.
There were so many problems where it's just like, you just gotta let
Kristen
it go.
Stewart bring her wardrobe from home. Yeah, actually dress her.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Wait, did you? say not let her bring her stuff from home.
Yeah, that's what they did.
I kind of appreciated her wardrobe.
My only problem is that, and I said this already, she had perfectly coiffed hair and these like I think it was either be mousy or be put together. Yeah. And she was kind of riding that. It didn't make sense. It just didn't make sense to me.
Because I was like, oh, she's dressing like I dressed in high school, like a flannel and a jeans and a t-shirt,
hair up in a messy bun.
Yeah.
And I would have totally been okay with it.
That's fair. I was like, because I like that about her, but you are right.
She had hair extensions and it was annoying the crap out of me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
She did have I love that makes sense. Ashley Green, I think. Her hair was just like, what's going on with this? I don't know. What is this wig? Same with Rosalie.
Oh my God. And the Jacob wig. If we're going to talk about wigs.
Yeah.
The Jacob wig was the worst.
Wait, are you saying you like Ashley Green's hair? You don't?
No. See,
I didn't like her hair, but her face, like she, without a doubt in my mind, was
adorable.
The most beautiful.
Oh, I love her. I love her.
Yeah.
I felt like it was like she had a wig on and then she had like a blow dryer and like hairspray that made it like Wolverine-esque.
Extremely 2000s hair. Like that was so the hair of the moment.
That's fair.
Yeah. Very 2000s.
Flip your head and you blow dry it upside down.
Yeah.
Yep, basically, and put some product in it.
Yep.
I love Esme.
Yes.
I love her.
Right?
She's a sweetie.
Everything she said and did, and I just love.
She just oozed the maternal,
Yeah, she did.
And her like another favorite part, her welcoming her when like she was first invited over for dinner. Mm-hmm. It was an awkward scene, but it was done right. Like this is somebody actually bringing somebody home and like introducing you to your family. And it's like, Mom, you're embarrassing me. Yeah. Like, oh, okay. It was perfectly awkward and adorable. Yeah. That whole, Anyway, that's all.
Speaking of
that, and Esme made the scene.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. Actually, Carlisle kind of made that scene a little bit too. Carlisle and Esme, they were great. They're a great couple.
I really like the influence that Carlisle has over the clan.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah.
He's he's like a very positive influence.
I didn't like his hair.
No, his hair is a little weird.
All right, here's my question. Why did they have him bleach his hair?
I think because the description of him is he's very blonde.
Well, right.
And same with Rosalie. She's very right. Well, same with Rosalie.
You're like a wig. Yeah. Like it.
Yeah. But even the wig was not good because she hurt.
Yeah.
That's true.
I forgot how much Rosalie like hated Bella in the beginning.
So that was what I was going to move over to, which is Rosalie's character might be the worst book to screen adaptation I've ever seen, and by no fault of the actor. In this instance, I just think that they didn't have time to delve into her character, understandably so, but she was just so angry and annoyed the whole time, and you didn't really get an explanation why.
You literally just like threw the salad bowl on a 10
the whole time.
Yeah.
But, all right, guys, notes roundup. Oh, I'm gonna commend Kristen Stewart for the realest slip on the sidewalk ever.
Oh my God.
Every time I see it, I'm like, she really landed. She really fell.
I forget the reasoning behind why she was clumsy, but that is one character trait that they did do that. They did portray that well throughout the entire, everything she did was a little bit clumsy, a little bit awkward. Right. And she did do a good job at that.
Yeah.
Being a book reader, I appreciated when the apple fell and he caught it for her was the cover of the book.
Yeah.
Which I appreciated. So
that was one of those where like, I remember it in theater and in the movie theater and everyone going, like,
right. It was good. I have Jessica underlined and exclamation pointed.
I also have a note that's basically Laurent was actually not a bad guy. And every time I watch this, I'm like, yeah, Laurent's not the worst guy in the world.
No, no, he warned them. He warned them.
He was polite the whole time. And like,
Edward drives a Volvo.
It was sponsored by Volvo.
Yeah, I get it. But like, really, that's the That's the top car. You're a millionaire.
Peels out
and this is the peels out in a Volvo. I don't care if it's your top-notch Volvo. It's a Volvo. Like, whatever. So there was one scene, Serena, I think you had said that you had noticed a lot more things this time around than you did originally. And I was like, oh, I felt like I watched it with the same eyes. I was still like, I still saw the problems, but excuse them anyway type of thing. There was one thing I caught this time in like the explanation of the movie that I never caught before that actually makes a lot of sense. So there's like a murder in town because the bad vampires are like killing people, right? And she's like driving by and she goes to visit her dad or something like that. Whatever was happening, she sees the body being wheeled out. Oh yeah. And put in the ambulance or wherever it was. She sees the dead body and then starts to have flashes of explanations of Edward.
Yep.
I don't know why I never put this together before, but she puts together like the cold hands, the whatever, like all the things. And it's like, oh, dead body. He's undead. And that's what gets her researching vampires.
Yeah.
So simple, such a like a, oh, okay, this is what triggers her into thinking this. You know what I mean? Like
she also had the phrase, the cold ones. Like she got the story from Jacob on the beach, and then that led to Cold Ones, which led to the book.
And she got the book and everything else. But it was, at least in the movie, that's when her like flashes and then she goes home and researches it. And I never connected what the dead body to that before. I was like, oh,
I got you. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. I got it.
All right. Any other notes?
I don't really, we did talk about all the problems, the gaslighting, the stalking, the obsession, the controlling, the patronizing, the mutual codependence, the grooming. All the major problems. It had it all. Yet we still are going to finish. I'm going to finish reading this book. We're going to finish the series and we're team Jacob Edward all the way. So,
but really we're all team Jasper. So
really we're all team Jasper or Carlisle or Charlie.
Yes. Okay. So martini shot, guys, would you recommend this movie to like 10 people in the world who've never seen it?
I would still say yes, just for the experience, but
I'm going to say no, because it was such a generational or like a moment. It's become a moment in time. It was a moment in time, because if you weren't caught up in the phenomenon of being around when it was released and the obsession and the everything, like that was part of the experience.
Yes.
That was, if you're not part of that and you're not reading it and having the midnight releases and going to the movie theater and experiencing it as a worldwide thing, because it's not good. It's not a good movie. It's not a good story. It's not anything special. It's nothing except that when it was happening, it was it was happening to everybody, whether they wanted it or not. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I would say no. If you haven't already experienced it, don't, and continue living your life in peace. Because there is no way to experience it like it should have been experienced. Like
2008. Yeah. All right. So we had one yes and two no's, everybody.
I'm saying yes, because if I say no, I'll literally be disowned by my mother.
That's fair. I got you. All right. Well, what other movies has everyone been watching? What's some good stuff we've all got going on?
Oldie but goodie, not really an oldie. I think it's 2012. I just for the first time watched American Pie Reunion the other night. Funny.
I've never seen any of the American Pie movies.
Yeah, stupid funny. You know what I mean? Like just stupid funny, light and fluffy. And then another one that I just watched, which I love the girl, I don't remember her name, is a newer release called The Duff. Have you guys seen The Duff?
Yes. That's a solid movie.
That was good.
I don't know. Oh, 2015. Wow, I really thought that was a new movie. Okay. Well, the girl, what's her name? Mae Whitman.
Yep.
Love her.
I
love her in everything.
Good Girls?
I have, and that's how I first was introduced to her, and also first introduced to Klaus from the Vampire Diaries from that show.
Oh, he's her ex-husband.
Yes.
Yep.
I was like mind blown. So if you're looking for a murder doc, I recommend Catching Killers.
Okay.
A mini docu-series. And they open the first episodes discusses the Green River Killer.
Oh, okay.
It's all, I mean, if you follow any kind of serial killers or major stories, I mean, groundbreaking, decades of killing, took them forever to catch them. This is the show for you. Now, let me tell you, I was exhausted. I managed to stay awake for this. I did. Wow. So, and I'm going to rewatch the second one because I was kind of fading in and out, but it's very sucks you right in. Tracy, this is right up your alley.
It sounds like it.
It's right up your alley, and it's well done. And I always love a nice murder doc. So
let's see. I just watched. Oh, that's right. What was the name of that one? Nobody Gets Out of Here Alive, I think was the name of the movie. I heard of that. And it was about an illegal immigrant who came in and she ended up in like a kind of a tenement housing situation, and it's haunted, and it's interesting. It's just another horror movie, but I've actually noticed kind of an uptick of horror movies involving either, refugees or immigrants or, that
not by accident. I mean, it's very real.
It's a fascinating thing to look at horror because you kind of pick up the trends of what society considers to be the scariest thing. So it's that. And then also I've noticed a major trend in horror has started to be people who end up in horror situations always have medical debt.
Yeah.
So
interesting. Okay.
So they're in this dangerous situation. They're doing this horror thing because they're in medical debt and they need to find a way to pay that off. It has really been pervasive in
that. I feel like you could write a whole thesis on horror. Like you just said, I feel like that is a thesis.
Yeah.
Is that horror movies of the day reflect what people are
afraid of
and like supernatural and whatever, like serial killer aside, medical debt.
Yeah. Which is
a real
massive commentary on our society right now.
It is. Yeah. Especially obviously American society.
Right. Exactly. Anyway. All right. Well, okay. So next thing to do is we're going to do the randomizer and see what our next movie is going to be. All right. Ready? It's so anticlimactic. All I do is click a button and it's like, it just happens.
That's why I make the noise.
Yeah. I appreciate that. All right. Ready? Oh, Forrest Gump.
Ooh, okay.
I know, right? That's an interesting one.
Which one?
Forrest Gump.
I was running.
Oh, God. I'm definitely going to be able to convince my human to watch that with me.
That's one of those where you always catch bits and pieces of it, but do you ever sit down and watch it from beginning to end? I don't think you do.
Honestly, though, it's a good movie to watch in bits and pieces because it's kind of shot like it's like
vignettes.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
All right. Thanks for joining us. If you like what you hear, you can find more great episodes over on our website, www.millennialsatthemoviehouse.com, or wherever you find your podcasts. Curious about updates, extras from our episodes, or want to add your 2 cents about a reviewed movie? We're also on Twitter and Instagram. Our handle for both is @themoviemillies. Check us out and make sure to follow us. So until next time,
we're millennials,
and we'll see you at the movie house.